Happy holidays and welcome to this Christmas week edition of the Opening Kick. We thank you for being here. We hope you've got all your presents wrapped and ready. We hope you are on the nice list and not the naughty list like my man Smoke over here for leaving me high and dry last week. Man, every time you're gone, man, I feel like it's months since I've seen you, but glad to have you back on this Christmas week, Smoke. How you doing, bud?
Ho, ho, ho. Merry Christmas. I guess the Grinch is here to give all the great news of this beautiful college football landscape. Let's get to it, Pettey.
Hey, man, let's get to it, Smoke. We got a lot to talk about, man. After all the whining and crying from the SEC, I think there's one program that has a little more to complain about on the whole playoff seeding as a scenario of whatever this madness is. And then that will lead right into, I mean, we can't not talk about the magical weekend that was of college football and the playoffs that we all looked forward to all year. And, man, you missed it. We were going to talk a little NFL last week. We did talk NFL, but I got you back this week. We're going to talk a little bit of NFL, maybe the team behind you and some of these quarterbacks. The quarterback situation is getting crazy. We got some injuries that popped up this last week. We got some rookies that are taking teams to some new heights that they haven't seen in a few years. So we're going to talk about it all. But before we get to that, let's give a little bit of love to our sponsors. First of all, hit that like and subscribe. If you are on Twitter, X, come over to the Bama Standard on YouTube and hit that subscribe and like so you can get all that Bama Standard content coming to you. With that said, give a little love to those folks that keep the lights on, that always keep it going hard, and that's realrockstone.com. It's Lamstone Company, one of our main sponsors here. Have you ever dreamed of having beautiful natural stone in or around your home? Well, don't settle for subpar materials. Check out Lamstone's company selection of natural stone products to meet all your project needs. Lamstone is located in Aniana, Alabama, and is one of the oldest, most trusted sources in the state. So contact them today and tell them we sent you by using the promo code the Bama Standard to receive 10% off your purchase. With that said, we thank you. Real Rock. We got another one coming. We always give a little love, but I'm really excited to do the title towel promo later in the show today for one in particular reason, for a present I got in the mail this week.
Got one.
I might Santa might have arrived early to Pettey. I'll go ahead, man. I gotta give love to it. Let's go.
Let's go. Smoke, who are you going to piss off first? Bring the heat.
Everybody.
Well, Mike, I don't aim to piss people off, man. I just aim to try to explain exactly what these two see and what goes on in here. So, listen, I'll try my best not to piss you off, Mike.
Probably going to piss off anybody that thinks that was going to be a good product last week, man. Let's jump right to it. And Whitwell, by the way, man, I'm going on vacation this Friday. We're going to be hitting up the Caribbean. I'm going to do the whole mugshot thing, and everywhere I hit on different islands, I'm going to have the title towel and tag you guys. And
Pettey, where you going?
We're doing a family cruise. We're going to hop on a boat for a few days, hit up Aruba, Bonaire. Another one that I can't think of right now.
Okay, well, enjoy, man.
Oh, yeah. Well, man, we're excited about it. I always like to get on boat, eat that food. And like I said, I'm going to take my title towel with me, and I'm going to have it all over the Caribbean hitting you up, Whitwell.
Are you in physical condition to expose one's body on the beach?
No. I do not look like it's I've been trying, though. I'm not going to lie. At the start of football season, I'm down about 30 pounds. I've been running hard, but I've still got a little bit of that love in the cushion.
Okay.
I'm not Marvin or Smoke Sans shirt, unfortunately.
Hey, man. Hey, listen. Next time.
With that said, man, I said it coming out of the gate. The SEC had a lot of gripes going into the playoffs, but after watching last week and how everything has unfolded, I think the biggest gripe comes from the Northwest, and that's the Oregon Ducks. They went through only team in college football to be consistent enough to not lose a game. You get that number 1 seed, which should be a blessing. And the only thing they get was a bye, and Ohio State 1 week off of catching fire out of Tennessee. Man, and then you look across the way in Penn State, who's the third best team in the Big 12. They get SMU and then Boise. man, from all the teeth gnashing of everything, and we're going to get into the what happened in the playoffs this week and what that chaos may lead to. But good Lord, how did they? I just don't understand how they got this seeding so bad, Smoke. Or did they?
You know what? I don't think they got it wrong just because of what happened towards the end of the season and the way they finished, the way that Ohio State finished out the season, losing to Michigan at the end.
Yeah.
But what I do think the committee needs to reconsider is reseeding, just so the team that deserves to play the lowest seed and the worst team plays that team. And so you don't have a Penn State basically walking through. And again, I don't think they're going to walk through because Boise matches up well against what Penn State wants to do. And I think they're going to win, but I think they're going to grind them out. And I would take grinding James Franklin late in the game and see him sweat and see exactly what he does. Because I don't think he does well under pressure.
I don't either. And that's what's maybe bothering me the most about this is, look, not that I'm stand up for Ohio State or Oregon, I don't think Penn State, they're going to end up in the Final Four and they're going to get credit for something I don't. And again, I think Boise State may probably give them a better game than SMU. But with that, like you said, I don't think they're going to win. But I don't really think that puts a feather in Franklin's cap if you beat SMU and Boise, and they're going to try to do it because I'm like you. I want to see him sweat. I'm sorry. I'm not the SEC guy that doesn't give props to Ohio State and the teams. Man, those teams are legit. They're legit. Michigan. But I can't do it with Penn.
Penn State's a good team.
They're a good team.
They're a good team.
But are they on that level? And again, I think they're getting a break in this seeding deal, man.
I think they're one of the top 4 teams in the United States.
Do you?
Yeah.
I think that's more an indictment on college football then. And they may be, man. Maybe I'm not giving them enough credit. My problem's Drew Allar. I can't get over that kid. He's not. I feel like to be one of the top 4 teams, all of them have a quarterback that can win you a game at any moment. And I feel like Drew.
Like who? Like Carson Beck. If Carson Beck's healthy, can he win a game by himself? No. Drew Allar and Carson Beck, same guys. Drew just throws the ball way better.
Well, I think that and maybe I'm getting into that goes to a deeper issue with quarterbacks in college football this year. I think the best 2 aren't even in the playoffs. So I mean, it's not like any of them are taking over games. But
right.
I was watching, Drew Allar. I'll go back to the very first drive. It's 3rd and 5. He's standing there rolling outside, and he's got a guy standing 7 yards on the sideline doing cartwheels. He's looking at him. It's not like he doesn't see him, and he still just holds it, and waits to throw it to a guy at the 1 yard short that's covered. And if it wasn't for their defense pulling away and making him comfortable, I'm not sure he ever does it. I'm not an Allar guy, but look, that running game and that defense is enough for Penn State to make noise, and you can win with that right now.
So Pettey, if I would say that Drew Allar, Quinn Ewers, and Carson Beck, you throw them in a bunch and pull one out, you're essentially getting the same guys.
Yeah, I'd take Beck over Laura. I've seen him make the throws.
Yeah. When Drew is on, Drew can make some throws that Quinn or Carson cannot even attempt. I'm telling you that. It's just the consistency and the way that the game is called, like the way that Sark calls the game for Quinn, is unreal. Like Quinn's gotten benched. Just giving you a heads up. He's been benched. He got benched in the Georgia game. Every big game he's either gotten benched or hurt. Yeah, they're the same guys. None of them separates himself by saying, "Give me the ball, I'm going to win." Like none of them do it. Like the most interception for a starting quarterback in the SEC, Carson. Quinn Ewers has not finished a season from ticker to ticker all year for his entire career. And he has one of the most elite play callers in college football that calls a game for him. Makes it look easy. He gives him layups. You go and track his throws, layups. They want Arch to play.
Oh, I agree with that.
How great can you be if you want the backup to play? Good quarterback, but I don't. I'm
not sold on Ewers either. Look, you're giving me. I'm trying to think. I don't love the quarterback class, but I have a hard time putting Penn State at 4. I still think Georgia's better even with a backup because I just think I'm gonna take Kirby over. The James Franklin is also a huge factor for me. The guy just struggles in big games, and it's
Is James not a top 10 coach in college football? Give me 9. Give me 10. That's better.
that are better than James Franklin.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I'm not
record-wise, it's tough. Are you going to take Lane Kiffin over James?
100%.
Why?
I've seen Kiffin actually win a big game. I've yet to see Franklin do it. I feel, and look, man, I know he's in the playoffs now. People are like, well, he's in the playoffs. Yeah, they backdoored it. Like, great. But I also, again, man, I hate to go back to it. This exact same Penn State team played Ole Miss last year in the Peach Bowl, a game that mattered, and Ole Miss rolled them. Do you think James Franklin could beat Georgia healthy with, all their guns blazing this year?
Mm-hmm.
You do?
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
Georgia don't scare me.
Georgia don't scare me, but what has Penn State done ever to make you have confidence that they could win a game against a program like Georgia?
I don't have confidence in either one of them. I'm just telling you to pick them. So on any given day, James Franklin's won at Vanderbilt. Name some other guys other than James and Clark that's won there.
Oh, look, man, that's no argument there. The dude won at Vandy. That's a look.
I'm just saying it's not a slam dunk that he's not one of the top 10 coaches. Now, when it's pressure cooking time, bro, Lane is folded under pressure. Jalen is folding under pressure. They've all folded under pressure, but at the end of the day, that's just what it is.
Well, man, I think it's getting back to it. We saw a model for 15 years that wasn't reality with what Nick Saban did at Alabama, and that set a bar and an expectation that's still fresh in our mind. And I just don't think it's already changed so dramatically and so quickly. It's hard now. I mean, Franklin probably is a top 10, but what's a top 10 coach now? I mean, I guess any given day, like you said, this is a week-to-week sport now. I mean, a coach looks like we were talking about that maybe before the show. I mean, for 1 week, Kalen DeBoer was on top of the world after beating Georgia. And then, then he's under the world, after losing to Vanderbilt. Same with Kiffin. He beats Georgia, and Kiffin's finally figured it out. 2 weeks later, he's losing to Florida in the swamp and blowing their chances in the playoffs. So, yeah, I don't know,
man. Lane is Lane. I mean, I don't think Lane is ever going to change from being an awesome offensive mind. But I believe being a head coach means you're the leader of men. Offense, defense, and special teams. And when times get tough, you got to blow your back up and go. I'm just saying, I've seen James in really bad situations come out on top.
Yeah. What do you think? So I know we got all over the place, and we're kind of almost segues into the whole playoff madness. But so you think Oregon just was a product of? I think they did get screwed, but I think it was because they had no game plan on how to set this crap up.
No, I mean, they're all flying by the seat of their pants.
Yeah,
and again, it's a process that I don't believe that people really put much thought into, just because they believe, hey man, once you set it, it's good and it can go. Well, it's never going to be right for anybody. If you do 12, 13 is going to be pissed. If you do 4, 5 is going to be upset. If you do 16, 17 is going to be upset.
That's right.
So you have to find a way to say, you know what? And I think they had it when they had the 4, because the 4 teams are usually going to end up at the end of the year the same way. I promise.
Yeah.
If you tell me right now who the 4 best teams are, there's a high percentage chance that they're going to be playing in the semifinal game.
And I don't think that was the problem. I don't think people were complaining saying they weren't getting it. I think they just wanted, I don't know, it's all about money and it's all about growing it. But if you're going to do it, it's got to be competitive. So I guess that's a good segue into this last week's chaos. Before we do that, though, our man Jimmy Clay's with us here on Christmas, dropping super chat so we can maybe get a little extra stocking stuffers for the kids. Merry Christmas, guys. Roll Tide. Hey, Jimmy, Merry Christmas to you, buddy. Roll Tide. I hope, all the blessings in the world to you, brother.
Petty, I should have had my Christmas hat on, man. Shame of me not to. Or my Grinch hat, one of the two.
Yeah, why didn't, man? I've got a Santa Claus hat. We really dropped the ball on that. We didn't get festive at all. That was.
No, you know what? I'm gonna get my son to bring it in a second.
Yeah, I should have. I'm
gonna get that done.
That was poor planning. We'll get to the questions. All right. With that said, man, I know, Smoke, you're kind of a believer of there's no way it just needs to be the top 4. There's no way if you're this many teams for it to be good or for it to be right, because you're going to have what we have. But man, you can't convince me that it can't be more competitive than it was. Look, if you put Alabama in the spot of Indiana and you put Ole Miss in the spot of SMU, those games were going to be closer last Saturday. But look, they didn't take care of business. That's the argument that will always go in circles. But
Say that again.
They didn't take care of business.
No, you said you still want this Alabama team in there?
No. They don't deserve to be in. But you also, on the flip side, can't say that wouldn't have been a more entertaining product than what we got with Indiana Notre Dame. You're telling me that Bama wouldn't have made that a more entertaining product?
Last time I saw Bama play against Cal College in Oklahoma, I wasn't blown away. Sorry.
I got you, man.
It's just at some point we just got to get over what we want and just understand what it is. And what happened this year is the Blue Bloods didn't show up. And Cinderella's team of SMU, I mean, Penn State didn't even beat SMU. SMU beat themselves.
Oh, yeah.
Right. Indiana, that's JMU on steroids versus Notre Dame. And they got busted up. Tennessee, all year, like Tennessee's not built to play in the snow at all. That offense, and again, you know what? Let me go off on my my tangent. Give me 1 minute. All right. Moving forward, there are going to be a lot of coaches that rethink the way that they call the game and the way that they prepare their teams with this new landscape of the college football playoffs. Because that air raid 4 wide receiver pass attack, when that ball feels like a brick hitting your hands, ain't it. And for all of my young guys to say all they want to do is to play in the SEC, check out where a majority of the NFL teams are. You're going to have to play in inclement weather. And when you watch Tennessee come out there and you watch SMU come out there to warm up, and I saw a lineman with sleeves on. Listen, if I ever see a lineman with sleeves on, I'm going to walk up to him and say, hey, listen, homeboy, game's over. You might as well go home. Because all you're looking for is warm cookies and milk and the sideline, because you want nothing to do with football. And that's what you saw. So I know that Heupel's going to put up a bunch of points. Rhett Lashley's going to put up a bunch of points during the year. But when it counts, I don't know if you can go up north with that. That don't travel. And
you better hope you get a high enough seating where you're hosting that thing down south, because no, you're right. Those teams, it showed that home field advantage up north is going to play. So you better hope to hell you get it, because the team's wilted. And your boy AJ even alluded to that, because Tennessee was saying, well, we're up in the mountains. He's like, look, man, the cold in Ohio versus the cold is a whole different ball of wax.
Different, bro. Different.
And even the kids at Tennessee that I thought came out trying to psych themselves up with no shirts on, you kind of saw it in their eyes. They were acting tough, but then they were grabbing arms and shit. I'm like, yeah, man, it's getting you.
Petty, listen, I played in Edmonton, I played in Buffalo, I played in Detroit. I'm an up north guy.
Yeah.
Ain't no way that I would ever come out and warm up with no shirt on. I wouldn't do that when it's 90 degrees. I'm damn sure not going to do it when it's 20 degrees. That has nothing to do with toughness. That's stupidity. Now, I'm not playing with any sleeves on because I know what to do. But to not have a shirt on and say that you're not being affected, nah, man, that you're on the dodo bus. Get off of it.
Well, it makes a difference. But look, man, none of these games were competitive, Smoke. Are you telling me this doesn't change their line of thinking on how they see this thing, that even the next year? Because here's the thing. These games weren't competitive. We're going to the next week. 3 of the teams that have buys are underdogs. Those are supposed to be the teams walking to the championship, and they're damn underdogs after getting a bye. That means it wasn't done right. That's not.
Hey, Petty. Next week's games aren't going to be competitive either.
Nope.
Let's give you a heads up.
Nope.
Go back and watch the history of the college playoffs. The semifinal games sucked. So you telling me you're increasing the pool of players with the transfer portal and kids getting out and jostling for money and levying themselves to negotiate so they can stay on the team, it's only going to get worse. You better figure something else out because this ain't it. The NBA is going through something right now. I hate to see college football go through it, where ratings are. Nobody wants to watch it.
People don't want, and that's why I'm telling you, Smoke. You don't want to hear it. People don't want to hear it, yada yada, because the SEC shit the bed on that final Saturday. But they're not going to watch. They're not going to keep watching this. They'll find a way to freaking NFL this. Look, man, nobody says a word when the Baltimore Ravens lose to the Cleveland Browns. Like, well, they lost to Ole Miss, lost to Kentucky. You can't win it. Nobody's saying, well, Baltimore lost to the Cleveland Browns. You can't win the title now.
Right.
It's looking to me like Baltimore absolutely can. So I'm sorry. I think the noise is going to grow if these blowouts keep happening. And I know you said you don't want to see Bama or Ole Miss or whatever. They're going to put Bama and Ole Miss in that shit next year to not have those games to make it a little bit closer. Even because here's the thing. Did they shit the bed this year? Yeah, but they also both showed the ability to win a big game. These teams never showed the ability to win a big game. SMU didn't win a big game. Indiana didn't win a big game. These teams never won the big game, so they never showed that they could actually show up on one of those nights and do it. At least Ole Miss and Bama and South Carolina showed you that on that night, if their damn team shows up, they're going to make this a game. And I'm sorry, this is all about money. They are going to find a way to not have this shit happen again.
Can I play devil's advocate?
Yeah, absolutely. I would.
What big game did Texas win this year?
They didn't.
So Texas being it?
No, look, man, and I know the SEC can shut their mouth too. I mean, Tennessee. Look at Tennessee's schedule. Outside of Bama, that was their lone win. They had a.
Texas didn't do much, so I mean that's just what it is.
Texas's best win was probably, well, I mean, I guess if you want to say Clemson, but Clemson's every time they play a team with a pulse, they get their ass handed to them too. Again,
Pettey, at the end of the day, Pettey, I'm gonna say this. If you got the best two teams, if you walked in and said, okay, Georgia versus Oregon, and that's going to be the national championship, everybody else go play in a great bowl game, I think everybody would be happy. Like, to me, that last week, Notre Dame versus Indiana. If they want to call that the Cold Bowl, great. If they want to call the SEC invitation where Ohio State played Tennessee, go ahead. Hoorah. You want to call SMU traveling up to the north, the two teams with white helmets? Great. But ain't no way neither one of those teams are going to win the national championship, so I'm good.
No, and that's the problem. These two teams won the right to play again next week, and nobody in their mind thinks, well, these teams got a chance to win the title. Good, great for winning that game. No, it's like, well, they won. Now we got to watch this shit again next week.
All that's showing you is that depth in college football is a serious issue. And Notre Dame lost their best defensive lineman. Man, Georgia's going to run through them. That's been Notre Dame's issue this entire time. When they line up, they're 22 versus anybody else at 22, they're just as good. But when you start getting the 30s and 40s, yeah, they're just as bad as every other bad team.
Let's touch on that before we get first, before you don't think that it'll be a different. You think they'll go with the same plan next year for this playoff system? You don't think there'll be changes to it?
I think they're reseeded. I think when they get to it, I think they're reseeded and put strength of schedule into the equation of picking the best 12 teams.
I think they will too. I hope
that.
So.
I believe.
With that said,
the same product though. It's still going to be the transfer portal. A team that ran away with Cinderella slippers show up and play against one of the big boys, get their faces kicked in, and they go home. That's just college football.
Odds are the outcome's going to be the same, teams winning the same, but I still think more people tune in. You're going to get better games, better product. With that said, you said you think Georgia's going to run through Notre Dame. You know, Beck's not playing. Do you think that makes a difference for Georgia, or is Georgia just too much? Going to be too much for Notre Dame?
Here's what Gunnar Stockton brings to the table that Carson Beck did not bring: mobility. The biggest equalizer in college football is a mobile quarterback. Notre Dame's going to have to play against a mobile quarterback with one of their better defensive linemen down. Georgia's going to bring a new wrinkle that we haven't seen now, Pettey. And once they bring that new wrinkle out, Notre Dame's going to have to adjust. And I'm still trying to remember if Notre Dame has any receivers. All I saw was the cross player. Last time I checked, them guys don't win the national championship.
I've got it. I hate to revert back and do this to you, Smoke, because I know you weren't high on what you saw out of Bama the last 2 weeks. You can't tell me. You think Notre Dame would have ran Bama out like they did Indiana?
No. But
you think Bama would have beat them? Or could have beat them? Let me say that. I know
they could have beaten them, but man, that Bama team is not good, man. It's scary. They were so checked out and ready to go home. They were ready to go home. You can't tell me that you have an opportunity to get in the playoffs and you lay an egg. You're telling me exactly what you're going to do. You think they would have went up to Indiana and it's cold out there? You think they would have showed up and played?
I don't know, man. Look, I get it. I get it. I get Oklahoma is a disqualifier. It's fresh in the mind. And how can you do that? But it's still the team that had the ability to blow up. I don't know, man, because I know what's in the locker room is the talent to win those damn games. I don't know.
Where's the talent at? Tell me.
You got the quarterback that's at any moment the best athlete on the field, right?
Yeah,
that's
the quarterback. What else you got?
Yeah, is that not enough in this playoff system?
Yeah, you can do something.
I mean, you've got enough of an offensive line. You got enough of a running game. You got 2 capable receivers. So, who's the capable one?
The freshman.
We don't think Bernard's capable?
Can't run. I'm not afraid of guys that can't run. I keep telling you that. If you can't catch the ball and score, you're just the first down waiting to happen. I'm solid on that. You got to be able to score for me to care. Siski, what's up, buddy?
Siski, Merry Christmas, my man. Go ahead.
I'm not afraid of. Here's why I keep telling you that Milroe shows up and plays. It's different because every time he touches it, and you make one step to your left, he's hitting his head on the goalpost and doing whatever dance that he wants to do. Ryan Williams, throw the ball to him, hits his head on the goalpost. There's no closer on defense, so I'm not afraid of you. You're just going to be lumped in the rest of them. And if the rest of them have an okay day, then you figure it out down the road. Like the college playoffs is about players. You got the team with the best players are going to win. It's not scheme. It's not statistics. Players win this. The quarterback that shows up and gets hot is going to win it. The defensive player that shows up and goes nuts, he's going to win it. But again, this is entertainment. So why aren't we being entertained? We just sat here and go ahead.
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
We just sat here and had a complete debate about 3 quarterbacks that we wish that we didn't see play. And there's 2 that's not playing that you could have figured, like somebody could have figured out how to slide them in there. Like figure a way how to get Cam Ward and Shador in there. And Jalen Milroe.
And look, I think, Siski, you think I've heard you, I didn't get to watch all y'all show this week, but I heard it mentioned that, I just heard you talk about it being a crap show this week. We're discussing, was that enough for them to change how the system, because look, Smoke, and I know you look at Bama through a different lens and a more harsh lens. And you're like, what did they show you to think they could have done any? But I mean, you're saying you're not scared of Alabama, but they're more scary than Indiana. I promise you, Notre Dame would have been much more fearful if Milroe and company would have rolled up into South Bend versus that Indiana team.
They are afraid of Milroe and Ryan Williams. They're not afraid of Alabama's team. I'm telling you that.
But in this uneven world of college football, that's enough to turn a game upside down. I
agree, or turn it the other way too, because I've seen them throw it away too.
I get you.
I mean, it's not the days of where you're saying, okay, you look at Georgia's defense and you say, dang, they got 4 guys that at any moment they can just catch fire and shut the entire college world down, and we won't piss a drop. Offensively, If Frazier holds on to the ball, he's lightning in the bottle, waiting to just explode. That's all you got to have. One on offense that can score, and some animals on defense that can close games out in a college football game. That's it. It's all about who's going to get hot these last few weeks. It ain't
so who do you see it? Do you see it going to scratch this weekend? I mean, look, you got all the, like I said, everybody's underdogs except for what is Georgia. They're the lone favorite, aren't they?
Yeah, I got Georgia winning. I got let me see the game. Run the games off for me, sis.
Penn State. You got Penn State, Boise.
I'm taking Penn State.
You got Arizona State, Texas. That's actually going to be probably.
That's going to be an ass beating. Give me Texas.
Okay.
They got Bo Scatterbo. They got Bo that's going to run the ball. They're going to load the box and Dear Levitt to throw the football. Good luck. Their best receiver is out.
Oh, I mean, I think the only game that's the game that they were trying to get in all that shit's going to be the Ohio State Oregon, and Ohio State's favored in that. They're the one. Oregon's the one team with the bye that's not favored. What a gift to be the one seed.
I am going to say that Oregon beats Ohio State. I'm not. Again, it comes down to players, and I get Jeremiah Smith, but if I'm going quarterback for quarterback, I'm taking Dylan Gabriel over Will Howard. And again, another equalizer in college football is who can throw the ball vertically down the field, because 85% of college DBs cannot play the ball in the air. That's 15 yards waiting to happen or touchdown.
Tyler says every game was the same. Home team beat the shit out of the visiting team up front. Game over. That's exactly what it was. It was it was SMU didn't have the physicality. Indiana didn't have the physicality. Tennessee got physically manhandled on the offensive line. That was the shocking one.
I'm going to go. Why is it shocking that Tennessee got manhandled? Tennessee's not a physical team.
Because they had a solid defensive line. I didn't expect now the offensive line's kind of been shaky this year. I didn't expect their defensive line to just get obliterated like that. They've got some dudes up front.
You know what makes a good defensive line, a good offensive line? Both line of scrimmage being good. Like, you can't have a really good defensive line, your offensive line sucks, because you go against each other every day. But the way that you practice is the way that you get built. And if you're going to play against fast pace, hurry up, finesse ball, big splits, and run the football and call yourself a dominating run team, you can sell the audience on that because of statistics. But when you come down to it, you just watch 3rd and 1, national TV, you got to go get 1 yard. And you can't get it. Your quarterback is the one that has to push his head forward. You're not a physical team. And when a team lines up and say, you know what, we are going to run the ball 5 times in a row, and you don't want to tackle us, that's physicality. Tennessee's not physical. Sorry.
They weren't Saturday night. They got their asses.
They weren't all year. They weren't all year.
I got you.
They weren't all year. Sorry.
I hear you. Again, it played out Saturday night and they got their asses whooped up and down the field. But I'm going to give you a not so fast. I don't think Oregon wins this second round. I think Ohio State actually wins this.
Okay, give it to me. How?
Huh?
How?
Look, man. The talent was always there. They played them. I mean, it was a 1-point game earlier, and it was a Will Howard mistake sliding that would have, it's hard to beat a team twice. I think they're even. I'll be honest. I think Dylan Gabriel's a good college quarterback, but I watched them a lot this year. There's some hiccups. I think Dylan, there's times you can get to him. He holds it a little too long. I think you can pressure him. If Ohio State's defense shows up like it did last week, I think they'll rattle Oregon a little bit, and I think they come out and win it.
Yeah, they rattle.
Smith, man, that quarter, as much everybody wants to give Ryan Williams love, Smith at Ohio State's as good as any daggum freshman receiver I've seen in years. That guy's a freak.
Not comparable. Jeremiah Smith by far.
Oh yeah, he's got the dude's thick. He's physical.
He's a better route runner. He's a better route runner. He's a better catcher of the football, more physical, and more talented. Just cut the film on. It's not hard. It's easy. That's an easy one. I was just talking to my buddy AC Deuce. We was texting the game. Like, yeah, they ain't even close.
Yeah.
Like I've seen Ryan get pressed to the ground at Vanderbilt, like manhandled, mashed. Get up there, Jeremiah, and see what happens.
And man,
He's
that
gonna
that
run
too.
by you and stick one hand up, like the interception or the interception. If that DB does not hit his hand, he sucks and cups it with 3 fingers. If you don't see it, that's how strong his hands are. Like he's ready to go in the league yesterday.
Yeah.
He's the best receiver in college football right
And
now.
man, and I'll be honest, and this pains me for the way they're utilizing Trayvon Henderson and Juckins is working. Like they get Henderson out of the backfield for that speed after and Juckins is they get on the goal line. You're not stopping that dude on the 1 yard line. I just feel like, man, Ohio State got that, maybe the blessing or benefit of getting Tennessee and getting some after the Michigan game and all the doubt. Now they've got a little bit of momentum riding into this Oregon game, and it may have backfired to get that fire. I don't know. I like Ohio State in this matchup. Tyler says Smith doesn't dance as much on TikTok. Before we get to the NFL, though, we had a few comments, questions that I do want to get to before we turn the page to the NFL. Alex Wilder, how the F did Indiana even get in? Wait, I meant how the F did SMU get in? A broken, screwed up system that those dumbasses didn't think about before they put it together.
Yeah, just tell me the other 2 teams that you want to put in other than those 2.
Ole Miss and Alabama.
Go ahead.
Ole Miss and Alabama smoke with their 3 losses.
Yeah, and the same outcome would have happened. Ole Miss, if they played against Ohio State, would have gotten crushed.
No, Penn State. You telling me Ole Miss would have got crushed by Penn State, the team they just beat the shit out of, same team the year before?
If Ole Miss travels up north in 20-something degree weather, and Lane Kiffin over there on the sideline shaking like this, and you want to open the game up and play 4 wide, and your running back is not the best player on the team, oh yeah, they get smacked. They wouldn't have got beat by double digits.
Yeah, I don't
physically bludgeoned.
I'll be honest. I wouldn't have liked Ole Miss's chances going to Penn State on that day. I don't think it would have been a 38. It wouldn't have been a game where people were like, good Lord, is there a horse race on?
No.
On the flip side, Bama going to Notre Dame on that Friday night would have been a completely different ball game.
Do you trust Jalen Milroe enough in the cold weather?
No.
Okay.
No. But I trust him more than Indiana. Anybody on Indiana's team. I know, man. Look, I get it. Herb and Raj. Herb filled in for you last Monday night when you were gone. He said the problem with the 4 was they had 5 power conferences at the time. They killed the Pac-12 and then expanded. Yeah, that they had the format, and then the format was set when they had a different alignment, and then the alignment changed and they didn't change the format. That's a very good point, actually, Herb.
Yeah.
Jay Penny, Bama would have thrashed Notre Dame. Smoke. You hear that?
Yeah. How good did Bama do against teams that ran the ball down their throat? Give me a heads up on that. Like lined up and just ran the ball with that defense. I'm telling you, I'm still trying to figure it out. I went through the entire season and tried to figure out what they call that defense. The 3 guys lined up in the defensive lineman lined up.
Look at
that. Like I still didn't. I still believe that Jeremiah Love, rumbles down Bama. I just don't see it. I'm sorry.
But who is Notre Dame beat to prove that they would have just been able to do that to Alabama? I don't know, man. Hey, but the same goes for you talk about that Bama would have had to go up in that cold, and we watched that team melt in less conditions. So they melted in Norman, and it wasn't that damn cold.
Bro, I'm just telling you, man. When you go up in there and you start talking about being cold and that sideline, and you got to drink hot broth like you're drinking water. Your nose starting running, and it turns into ice, and your hands are like bricks.
When you can visibly see the teams reacting slower and not moving fast, it was obvious. Like those teams.
Man, Tennessee wanted to go back on that bus so fast. I was sitting there telling my wife, like, they want 0 to do. I telling my son, I'm like, Pops, let's look at it. They want nothing to do with being outside in this temperature right now.
Nope.
They would rather be on the bus doing TikTok dances and going back home and saying, hey, man, we tried and the system jacked up. As much as Lane and the rest of them were screaming about they wanted to play, yeah. If it would have snowed a little bit, good luck.
It's hard to argue there, man, because I was watching teams just wilting it. Look, Tennessee was quicker to the heat bench than they were to the routes.
They were running on fourth down.
First sign of the cold is in their head when players come out with no shirt on, already beat.
Yeah, they're already done. I'm telling you, it's cold. Don't whoever wants to do that, don't do it again. Because for a guy that's played in cold temperatures, when I see idiots come out and they don't have any shirts on and warm up, when I came out, I warmed up in clothes. I came back, I put that second skin on and the Vaseline on. I took a hot shower and got ready. Closed my pores up with Vaseline and that second skin. And then I got ready to play. And that was it. I drank my bra. I put my parka on. And I looked at everybody else that had sleeves on. I just walked over to him like, bro, you're cold, aren't you? Nah, I ain't cold. They asked me, are you cold? I said, hell yeah, I'm cold, but it's not affecting my game. Like when somebody tells you it's cold outside and it's not cold, they're lying. It's cold. Everyone gets cold.
Jay says we're putting too much damn impact on the cold, bruh. I trust Milroe running and Miller running in the cold as much as anyone. Man, Smoke, speak to it. You've done, hey, like you said, you played in Canada. You played in damn Ireland. Like that's
if you've never played in it, Jay, and your toes start getting cold and your fingertips start getting cold and that ball feels like a brick and you're out there for hours, yeah. Tell me something about that later on when you've done it. If you've never done it, it's different. And then, yeah, he's just talking just to talk. It's a different way to play football. That's why the Buffalo Bills and the Green Bay Packers, that's why it's called home field advantage for those teams. They want to get you in those inclement temperatures. Like in Buffalo, we wanted to play teams that pass the ball because at certain times, that's one of the main reasons why we drafted Josh. Because Josh was the only quarterback between Baker, Sam, and Josh that threw in inclement weather.
Up in Wyoming, yep.
In Wyoming, if you've taken a quarterback in Buffalo that's never thrown in inclement weather with a temperature close to 30s, then you're hoping and wishing that they can. When you're talking about going in a freezer just to prepare to play in the cold, like it's already in your head. You're done.
Well, and look at the records of teams like Miami when they come up to like their record in Buffalo and in the playoffs when they go to Kansas City or New Orleans when they go up to Green Bay, like right now. Records aren't real favorable to the teams that are coming from the South and playing it. And there's a reason. It ain't, you know.
I remember back in 2000 and I want to say like 17 or 18, and Jarvis Landry was catching punts, and he had his hand in his hand warmer, and he was returning punts. And the ball would get punted, and he still had his hand in his hand warmer. He only took it out when the ball got to about right here in front of him. Then he took it out. I walked over and said, hey, bro, you ain't catching one today, and you don't want to be out here. He's like, yeah, you know what? I'm ready to get the hell on.
You're right.
It was over.
That's a good way to segue. Speaking of Jarvis Landry, cold weather, because it's if you've been watching the NFL, man, all these games, like Smoke said, you're starting to have to play in this cold weather. And it's starting to get chilly in NFL, especially for some quarterbacks. Some are heating up, some are getting a little injured. But before we get to the NFL, like I said, I got to give my man some love now that I got one of these got to get it right side up. Title towel. Visit whitwillsports.com today. If you heading down to my town of Tampa for New Year's, get that title towel. Go to whitwillsports.com. Tell them the promo code standard. Get 20% off. Get that title towel and take it to Ray J and swing that. They like towels in them pro stadiums. So instead of a shaker, take that title towel with you. And like I told you, Whitwell, I'm going to have that with me all around the islands this coming up week. I'm going to be taking pictures of title towel all over the Caribbean. With that said, Smoke, man, and I don't know what the latest. I just saw an update, man. Allen got banged up a little bit last week in their game.
He's good to go. He's tough.
He's good to go. It wasn't the same with I think it's this time every year that we see old Patrick Mahomes has something wrong with his ankle or knee, but somehow just keeps playing, keeps throwing. I mean, these dudes are built different.
Superman Cape's coming on. Here's what I'm gonna tell you, Siski. Let me see. You got Joe, Patrick, Josh right now. And I would say those are all the quarterbacks that I would say you don't want them to have the ball at the end of the game. It's a certain look. Joe,
Okay.
Patrick, and Josh. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
That you don't want the ball. And they have a certain look. Irregardless of how they feel, banged up, ankle, knee, elbow. Josh been playing with a broken hand all year. Left hand. And he's going to win the MVP.
He should.
And he's still stiff arming the crap out of people. I saw Joe Turney at left tackle for Kansas City Chiefs. Don't matter what you put out there with Patrick. Just let him know. Just say, look out. Give him a heads up. And he's going to get it done. Joe Burrow threw a ball when he was almost knees was touching. It's just, those guys just have the cape. And when they take the cape and just throw it off and give you that look, you're like, oh, damn, game's over. Game's over.
You think does Golf have that?
No.
You don't think he has it? Sam Darnold?
Hell no. Good quarterbacks. They're not super.
How about Jalen, man? He went down with a concussion. Is he going to be all right?
He should be all right.
The Eagles are rolling, man.
But I'm not afraid. They don't have that. Let me try to give you the look. Can you remember the 13 seconds that Sean McDermott and the Buffalo Bills tricked off against Patrick? The camera panned right to Patrick's eyes. And he had this smirk on his face like, really? 13?
Yeah.
And it's like they have the park on it, and he just does that. And he just goes touchdown. Just like Josh. Just like when Kansas City took the lead. He saw Josh on the side. He might have been biting his nails. Okay, good. You guys ready? Okay, get out the way. And throw it off. Same thing with Joe. So those guys are just different. They have it. And they're the best players on the field, irregardless. There's only one guy on defense that I've seen close out any one of those. And Patrick has him, and it's called Chris Jones.
Oh, yeah.
That's the only reason.
He's game changer.
Oh, he don't even Chris don't even play until game 13 or 14.
It's great. He doesn't show up. And then when he does, well, the Chiefs defense, everybody all year is like, man, it's just not working. It's not working. I'm like, I haven't seen Chris Jones try. And then all of a sudden he flips it on and he literally changes offenses. It's insane.
Yeah, he's playing right now. You saw what he did against Houston last week? He's like, where's Chris? He's on the sideline for like 3 quarters with his coat on, the Superman coat on. You know? And Spag just say, hey, Chris, it's time. And he just, da-da-da.
I'll be honest, man.
Down, the game over.
I don't know. He's arguably as far as defensive players' ability to take over and wreck an offense. It's been a long time since there was one of his level that did it like he does it when he turns it on.
All right, Siski, get ready. Okay, I got one for you. I would take Chris Jones over Aaron Donald any day of the week, twice on a Sunday, if you showed him up. One guy shows up and plays in big games. Now, Aaron Donald's career is phenomenal. But if you're talking about closers of games, show up in the most important moments, big, can play the 5, the 3, the 1, like whatever you want to play.
What?
Yeah, I'm taking Chris Jones over Aaron Donald. And whoever wants to argue with me, go right ahead. But
what about what Watt's doing right now?
I'm taking Chris Jones over every single defensive lineman in the NFL. Even Miles, TJ, Chris Jones.
TJ's doing some sick stuff. Look, man, I don't.
You saw the Super Bowl last year?
Look, Chris Jones, I think, is the biggest game changer on it because coming from the inside, a lot of times, man, a pass rush can get averted when he's dominating that middle. He's completely blowing up the pocket. I mean, he's just disrupting the offense to a level it can't.
Petty, he also lines up at defensive end and walks back tackles in laps. Just go back and think about the last 4 games, playoff games. The Super Bowl, that's a touchdown. He's running scot-free. The last 2 plays, Chris Jones made those plays on his own. Against Philadelphia, Chris Jones won that game. Josh Allen, you know who ran behind Josh and punched the ball out? That was Chris.
Oh, no. He's free.
He is Mariano Rivera on defense. He's the closer. Enter the Sandman. It's done in the playoffs.
Donald was an elite technician. Jones is just a dude with no technique.
Donald, yeah, elite technician Jones. Yeah, I'm still taking 6'5", 300 pounds over 6 foot, 280 pounds. In both of them, I mean, you can argue either way. I just have what I like, and Tyler likes what he likes. But they
Tyler's
stay
still
busy.
upset because the deal was he had Jones locked up, and then State pulled some bullshit in the middle of the night, and Siski almost had Jones and Kim Dichie on the same defensive line.
Well,
I think he just
Tyler knows the game.
Bruce Smith hands down. Oh, are we going best all time disruptor? Man, that's LT changed the game. Like LT changed football. Like he changed the way offensive tackles were paid, literally. When he broke Theismann's leg, that changed like the emphasis they put on the blindside tackle.
I would push back and say LT is phenomenal, but I'm going to take Reggie White over everybody.
Right. Okay, that was the Reggie I was going to say before. Reggie, yeah, the Minister of Defense is the other. That would be the argument is Reggie White.
Yeah,
He was.
I'm going to say, but Pettey, you know what? There's a good situation going on down south in Atlanta that I don't know if everyone's paying attention to. Kirk Cousins got benched. Kirk Cousins just got benched.
He did. John Randall. Oh, yeah, okay.
For one, no, John Randall, stop. No, listen, stop. Enough. Knock it off, guys. John Randall, no go. No dice.
I've got Thomas before Randall.
Man, Randall is so far back. Enough.
I got DT before I got Randall on there.
There's Warren. There's like enough.
Ooh.
Knock it off.
Warren.
Knock it off.
Siski does say he's taking Jones. I guess he's just giving some love for the technician.
Yeah.
Wait, you talking about Penix taking over?
Yeah, Penix is taking over. Yeah, Michael Penix taking over. But here's my question for the Atlanta Falcons front office. You had the 8th pick. At some point, didn't you believe that you can get one of the 6 quarterbacks that were going to get drafted in the first round? And if you would have studied it long enough, nobody really wanted Bo. Right? Bo was the guy that was getting shoot off. Bo's a good football player.
Pretty dang good on Sean Payton so far. That's going to be our next topic is Bo and.
Oh yeah, I'm teeing you up. J.J. McCarthy, Michael Penix. We knew that Caleb, Drake, and Jayden Daniels were going to be the 3 quarterbacks that were taken, and possibly 1, 2, 3. The Giants were trying to figure out one of the 2. Tennessee should have took one of, but Tennessee was going to think it over too much and go get an offensive lineman.
Yeah.
So in my mind, I'm thinking, why would I go out and spend $90 million of the owner's money just to get to game 14 and be at 500? Just think about that for a second. $90 million to get benched in game 14.
It goes back in Smoke, man. You've look, this is where I really am talking outside of my level of expertise. But as a fan, that is the thing that makes you wonder, like, just because you're filthy rich, I don't think all these people makes you smart in some of your decisions, because that makes no damn sense why you would do that.
Well, that's not the owner's decision. That's the people in the front office. You can do the crazy. You can play out crazy scenarios. I can go get my son and my 7-year-old daughter to play out the draft. Like we used to do it all the time. It's called a mock draft. Okay, Chicago Bears, you're gonna take Caleb. You know what? Pettey. Let's do it right now. I'm gonna tell you how easy it is. Give me the top 10 teams, and I can tell you how easily they could have gotten Michael Penix without spending $90 million.
The top 10 in the draft, or the top 10 teams in the
just give me the teams that picked the top 10 last year.
Oh shit! Give me just a second. Keep rattling off.
You good?
I'll let you speak to this. I think not that one. I'll let you speak to this while I pull that up.
Oh boy, you can't really have a good defensive line if your offensive line sucks. This guy actually said that. Get a new guest. Steve, I'm gonna tell you that iron sharpens iron, and I've been around the game for a while. And when you're going against your defensive line and offensive line are going against each other in old drills, you call it 9-on-7 or 1-on-1 blocks, you're actually getting each other better. Like you go back and you watch all the Bama teams that was like really good. Like, they were going against guys that were going to be first rounders on their second team. Like, the Bama defense was going against Mac Jones as their look team quarterback. So yes, it's going to get you better. If you're going against Evan Neal every day and he's second team, yes, that's going to get you better. If you're going against a team that plays fast pace and they're not getting you ready to put your cleats in the ground, come off the ball, shock, shed, and locate, when you first feel that in real life, that's something different. And if you've never been a part of that or felt that pressure of two guys knocking you back that weighs 300 pounds and actually like 700 pounds of force on you, like, you're never going to feel that. So if you don't feel that for a majority of the year, 1 week trying to get yourself ready to play, no bueno. Go check those Tennessee runs. Go check those Tennessee runs with my man Dylan Sampson. Like a lot of those were in between, but those, look at those splits. Wide splits. Cut, get downhill.
And that's why they call him Smoke. And that wasn't funny, Siski. All right, I got your top 10 lined up real quick. Siski's taking Christmas shots. I think he's been in the Diet Millers all day. So now he's gonna fire off at me about my ribs not having iron sharpen iron.
Siski, yeah, but again, that's the same thing. Like Ole Miss's offensive line got somewhat better this year just because of their defensive line. Right? If you're going against if your guard and center combo is going against Walter Nolan all year, from spring until the end, you're going to get better. Like simply, like there's a reason why Ole Miss secondary over the years, they know how to cover balls and cover passes. Just because they've been getting thrown at all year. They have the best receiver, best quarterback. Naturally, you get better that way. But if you aren't in the trenches and getting beat up, banged up all the time, that's just what it is. They ain't terrible since he stopped.
But they beat them up this year, I guess, because they were rough by the end. Dart was looking for.
No, but look what they did. But I listen. If you're an Ole Miss guy and they didn't get in the playoff, you're burnt a little bit. But just look what they did to Georgia. Like they physically manhandled Georgia because they were more physical up front. They were more physical up front. That's just what it is. Over the years, when you saw Bama's offensive defensive line being physical, go check out what they look like.
Oh, yeah.
They can line up and bust you in your face.
All right, I got your top 10 picks in the NFL. You ready?
Let's go.
Chicago Bears. They went with Caleb, obviously.
Caleb, easy. We knew that.
Washington.
We knew they were going with Jayden Daniels.
They made the better pick. New England.
We knew that they were going to take a quarterback. Drake May. They were in love.
Arizona went with Marvin.
We knew that Arizona was going to pick one. So now you're just bumped up one. You know they're going to take a receiver because they got a quarterback. So you know right now you have three players to get to you at 8. You just got to find one way to get above 7. Keep going.
Yeah, and the Chargers were going. I mean, they weren't drafting quarterback. They went offensive line with alt. New York Giants went with Malik Neighbors. So they weren't going quarterback, even though they're the worst drafting.
Even if they did go quarterback, you still
at that
had an
point,
opportunity to get one. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So you didn't have, like, when you look at it, and if your personnel department evaluated these quarterbacks properly, you would have known. I said it. There are 6 quarterbacks in this draft that can go in the top 10 picks. Craziest one of all time. I said this is a great draft for quarterbacks.
Which is the
so why am I going out spending money on an old man with banged up Achilles coming off of the season?
Why did they do that? They could have gotten a lot cheaper backup to run the ship. Hey, what's the redhead that's played for 45 years?
Andy Dalton.
Go get Andy Dalton just to make it 6 games.
Hey, Pettey, here's the easiest way to get an extension or get grace in the NFL building. Go get a first-round quarterback and have him play just okay and give you life. It's the same thing with what's going on down there with Billy Napier. All DJ Lagway's doing is giving you hope in life.
Well, then look what it's done in Washington and Denver, man. And that segs us in perfectly to this question. You know, everybody was kind of bagging on Bo Nix. Auburn sure as hell was ready to let him go. And man, here we are every week. There's kind of an argument. Who's the best I mean, Bo Nix shows out, and then Jayden Daniels says, hold my beer, and does something just insanely magical each week.
All right. I'm going to put this one to bed real quick. It's not a conversation. It's not a conversation.
Really?
Oh, it's not a conversation.
Do you think Daniels is that much better? Is Daniels that much better? Or?
Oh, yeah. Daniels is playing at a level of maybe a top 5 quarterback in the NFL.
I agree with that.
Like he's winning games because of him.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Bo Nix is being ushered and being babysat with throwing screens and quick games. Like Jayden is making big boy throws, big boy plays. Like, I don't think they're not close. If you want to put Jayden Daniels in the MVP conversation and put him all the way 5th or 4th, I don't think anybody will argue with you. Your Bo Nix ain't there yet.
No, and look, it's. Nah, I mean, you kind of laid it out, but I don't want to knock what Bo's doing just because Sean Payton, he went to the perfect setup with Sean Payton. And like you said, he's learning the ropes under one of the best to do it with an offense, and he's only going to get more comfortable. But I think he's got the skill set to do it. And shoot, Denver's defense is lights out. So, man, I think Denver's a sneaky. I think it's maybe because of the way they're winning. You know, you got to give a little bit of love to how Bo's doing it because he's not. Hey, a lot of rookies would cost their teams, and he's not doing that right now. But like you said, if you're watching,
he's not getting the opportunity to. Like Sean is not putting the ball in harm's way. He's doing it the right way for a young quarterback. Because what a lot of NFL teams do, they get carried away with how big the guy's arm is and how many routes you can throw. Like, if you watch it a little bit, and going back to Jayden Daniels, Cliff Kingsbury got outside of himself a little bit with some of the plays that he was calling. And Jayden Daniels has saved that Washington offense several times. And when you have a young quarterback that's going to basically help help out his coordinator, be the next head coach, that's saying a damn lot. Because you're not winning because Cliff is dialing up great plays. He's winning because Jayden Daniels is applying.
He's making plays.
Oh, my God. 4th and 11?
With 10 seconds to go, and you're a rookie. And he was what? And look, man, 5 touchdowns in the game. That's the first guy to do that since Mark Rippon was on the sidelines. I mean, that was back when I was collecting damn cards. Like it's
Petty, the window was about that big, and he had to go from right back to his left, and it scanned right there. And look, the linebacker 53 off that's been playing really good for Philly. Look him off quickly and zip it in there. Beautiful throw. Like he's doing progressionary reads that you'd hope that a 4th or 5th year NFL vet could do. And he's doing that like right now. So it says a lot because he's played a lot of football, just like Bo.
But I'll tell you what, and I'm gonna be honest, I'm more not more shocked at Daniels. I didn't expect Bo to do what he did, so he's actually exceeded my expectations. But one of the things I worried about with Daniels when he was in college, he ran kind of free. He got hit a lot, like he took a lot of hard hits. Bama about killed him. Ole Miss knocked him out, and the ball went up 20 yards in the air. He would let himself get hit, and I was like, man, if this kid gets to the NFL and lays his body out like that, somebody's gonna break him in half. And whoever his advisor or whatever, he's a completely different runner in the NFL than he was. He's learned how to take hits, gets down, or maybe I'm just missing it. But it seems like something clicked with him in that regard.
He's going to get back. He already had to sit out a couple of games this year just because he had those busted ribs. So he's going to stay getting injured because he runs kind of upright. And he's so elongated that he puts his body in just free way of getting crushed.
Do you think he gets hit by the rookie, the second year doldrums? I mean, you kind of saw it with good God. At Texans. Yeah, Stroud at Texans. Which he turned it on. I mean, he's kind of picked it back up here in the last few games. Stroud looked good Sunday.
So Siski, Smoke has a theory about quarterbacks and decision making. I told my good friend Jim Monis this was probably the best quarterback evaluator. We got to get him on the show at some point to go through his quarterback system where he breaks them down.
Love that.
And I remember seeing some of the things that CJ was talking about in the offseason. Like he had the podcast and he was saying like other teams sucked and they were trash. And I'm like, that ain't it. And then some of the like questionable decisions that he was making throughout the year. And I'm just, in my mind, I'm saying the NFL is so hard for you to like double back twice and do the same thing over again that you did your rookie year because everyone's studying you now. I don't think he put in the work to take that next step. And I get it that some of his main guys were banged up, but he's making a few plays that you'd hope that a second-year guy that's seeing a lot of the things would do better.
Some of the
and that's the only thing that scares me. And Jayden isn't wired that way. CJ is. Jayden is wired to go out and be a pro. CJ wants to, from what I've seen, I don't know the young man, but I'm just saying from what I've saw with him and Micah Parsons having that podcast, like, and I get it, that's a new generation, but at some point, like, humble yourself, study the art of playing the position, and just get better at it instead of just being free willy and just exposing yourself to a lot of the harsh criticism from a person like myself.
Well, it sounds like you think JD's kind of that Daniels is kind of set up for the long game.
Oh, I do. I think I had Jayden Daniels ahead of Caleb just because there's some stuff that I saw in Caleb's game that scared the hell out of me. Pocket presence. And pocket presence is just having the confidence of maneuvering in the pocket without running. Like Caleb did a bunch of running around in college and everybody equated that to being playmaker. No. I equated that to being just a scary-ass dude in the pocket and trying to do too much. Like, you can't run around like that in the NFL and survive because Chris Jones, Aaron Donald, Reggie White, LT, Derek Thomas, John Randall, those guys are hunting you. So if you think that you can run around, the pocket is where you're protected. So if you can't operate within the pocket in the NFL and just get off script when needed, yeah, your longevity in the NFL, very short. Because you're going to get hurt. Because most of those guys are supposed to be locked up. How violent they are.
Do you think Bo is on? I mean, do you think he's just part of a system right now, or do you think Bo's going to make it?
No, Bo's good. Bo's a good quarterback. And long as he stays with the mastermind of Sean Payton, see, Sean has a system. Like, Sean wanted Bo because they just click. They get each other. Super smart. Can get you in and out. And he doesn't have a big ego. Said, you know what, coach, you only think I can do check down, so I'm going to take this deep shot. No. He understands the maturation of becoming a good quarterback. So he's just taking his lessons and just doing it as he goes.
Speaking of second year guys, man, one that hit the doldrums and it looked almost defeated at times early in the season, and who can blame you when you're in Charlotte and that damn organization. But in the last few weeks, man, super happy to see Bryce doing better now, Caffey. Yeah, like I'm with you, brother, man. Bryce has played. If you've watched the Panthers, man, they've played some good ball the last few weeks, and a lot of it's Bryce looks like he's getting a little bit of confidence. You seeing that, Smoke?
Hit the brakes. Bryce doesn't have a chance in that organization.
What?
As a player, he does in that organization.
That's what I wanted. Not the organization, but I want, because I argue this with a guy that all the time that he's pinning Bryce to the organization, and I don't think it's Bryce. So you think he can make it? And it's not Bryce. It's the org.
I think he has a chance, but he does not have a chance in Carolina. It's a done deal. It is a oof.
It's a bad situation.
You couldn't be in a worse situation from talent acquisition, from overall front office, personnel to coaching. Yeah, he's in one of the worst situations that you can possibly be in. They have no help coming in draft. It's not like they have some wit over there that's drafting guys and finding them in the 6th and 7th round. I mean, they're just barely holding on. And Bryce doesn't have the natural skills to be a win because of guy. So with a Bryce, you got it just like Bo. He's a win.
You got to give him some tools.
You got to give him a bunch. You got to give him O-line. You got to give him running back. You got to give him a dominant receiver. You got to get him a defense. You got to give him everything has to align perfectly for those guys to win a Super Bowl. And if they're not aligned, they're always going to get their faces kicked in by Joe, Josh, Justin Herbert, guys that are just more uber talented than they are, just like Tua. They're just win-with guys, not win because of.
Got you.
Win-with.
Man, got a few more comments before we get out of here tonight. Siski was raising hell out of the gate. I guess he just wanted to find. I'm joining late. Bama fans still mad about not being in the playoffs. You're damn right, Siski. After watching this weekend, we're all mad about not being in the playoffs. After watching Indiana, after watching SMU, after we get to watch Boise get rolled by mediocre Penn State, yeah, we want to be in the playoffs. But you shit the bed against Oklahoma, and you didn't get to.
So do you want to get in the playoffs because you believe that you're a national championship team, or you just want to get in just to say you got in, get to the second round and lose? Bama does not have a team to win the national championship. You know that, right?
We want to go in this circle. Neither does Indiana.
No, they don't. So what I'm saying is, either way, it doesn't matter. If you get in for 1 week and say, "Oh yeah, we got in and got your face kicked in," what did you do? You're the same as playing in the Gator Bowl. What are you gonna say? All right, we had a chance.
Smoke, always, we're not good enough. Let's be honest. Who is good right now? We're all a bunch of average teams. And I think that's what's making this so hard to debate and say. I mean, there's no and I said this on the show tonight. Bama set a bar that it made shit just unrealistic that we're not going to see again. And this, as long as this setup and this format is what it is, we're never going to see that again. We won't see it for a 2-year stretch, much less a 15 to 20.
You're not going to see what Bama and even Clemson at that 3 to 4 year clip in Georgia had, because you can't recruit and stockpile talent like you once did. Every time you look around, the NCAA is making a rule to create more parity than anything. And now that you're having JUCO years not counting, I mean, you're going to have 30-year-old men playing against an 18-year. Like Ryan might be playing against a 29-year-old guy. That's not fair. No, 17 versus 20. That's not fair. Like, come on, knock it off. It's going to be tough to have that same run. So that's why it's always good. And I think what most schools are doing is stockpiling their personnel department so you can acquire the right talent and structure your team and always stay ahead of the next move. And if you're not doing that and you have a true personnel department and you're scattering right now for portal guys, or you don't know who's on your team or who's leaving, you should have a heartbeat of your team. If you're a general manager, director of player personnel, every single position coach and head coach, you should know that when Johnny Smith walks into your office, say, "Hey, coach," you say, "Hey, listen, I know you're hitting the portal, aren't you?" And you'll say, "Yeah, coach, I'm hitting the portal." You say, "All right, thanks." And you get on the phone and your GM's there and say, "Okay, call in Rick Smith. And we want to bring him up on a visit. And when you get Rick Smith, get Joe Johnson and Billy Sanders, because that's how we're going to structure it. 1, 2, and 3 of those guys coming in. And whoever takes it, we'll give it to them. But we're already ahead of this curve of you saying that you want to hold us hostage because you want more money that you haven't earned. And which is fine. I'm never going to argue with a young person that feels like they deserve more or they've earned more. But what you do have is the leverage of finding others that can come in and play.
What I'm going to argue, though, is when a kid transfers from Tulane to Duke and it's reported he's getting $8 million for 2 years. Good gosh, man, we've got to get this shit under control.
Why? If I gave you $2 million for doing the show, would you say you got to get this shit under control?
Oh, I don't blame. No, I'm not blaming the kid. This is a system blame. Look, go get your money, kids. If it's out there, you're a fool for not taking advantage. This kid, I'm more, let me put my clown makeup on and go to work tomorrow more than anything. It's more jealousy. But good God, man, when we've got 3-star quarterbacks commanding $8 million, that's, woo, we've gotten crazy. Like, here's the thing. Brock Purdy's sitting in San Francisco right now thinking, can I get in the damn portal and go back to college? Screw this shit. I'll make more money at Duke than I can at the San Francisco 49ers right now.
Well, if I can break it down just real simple, it's just the market. Like, the market's going to drive the price.
Yep.
Because Tua is getting, what is Tua getting? 55 to 60 mil, something like that. And Josh and Patrick are getting 40 and 45. Does that equal out? No. But the time that they did their deal, that was the going price. So whatever the going price is, you got to pay. And if you don't want to get in the game, get out, sit on the sideline and play.
Hey, don't hate the
But
player, hate the game, right?
But again, if you believe that that player is worth $2 million, you got to say he's going to come in and he's going to win the ACC. With two guys on it, he's winning it. Because if you got to go justify that to your athletic director. Look him in the face and say, okay, this is our next quarterback. This is our Cam Newton. He's on. No, I'm not saying that he is. I'm just.
No,
saying
I know. No, that what I was
is.
thinking. He better be Cam for $8 million, though.
You better be, because
Yeah.
if you're not, it's dead money.
Mm-hmm.
Right? If he goes out there and they get 6-6, and they go to the Papa John's Bowl, you're like, hold on, bro. $2 million for Papa John's? No, we're in the playoffs and we're going to the second round, and we better be a top 4 seed. If you're telling me that you allowed someone to drive up the price on you for a young player that you believe is the next coming of, like, he got to do what Cam Ward did to Miami.
Yeah. You
got to do what Shador and Travis did to Colorado.
And I think that's the shocking, because you're like, this kid ain't look, more power to him. I hope he proves us all wrong, but odds of him having that kind of impact at Duke, it's just, again, it's props to the market. It's freaking nuts right now. With that said, be jamming. The main question, will UGA's defense show up, Smoke? That is the key for UGA winning. I actually agree. If UGA's defense, I mean,
when has Georgia's defense never showed up when they needed to?
They always do. I expect them to.
Yeah, ask Carson Beck that just got out of surgery if their defense didn't show up. And that's no knock on him getting hurt, because I don't want anybody getting. I'm just saying they got after Texas.
Yeah, that's Texas. Yeah. A Texas team that Clemson couldn't even slow down. Right. Yeah, it's. Right. Look, man. I don't think Beck's as bad as people got on this year. I don't think he's great as his preseason love that he got. But Beck's, you said it, Smoke. Beck ain't the reason Georgia's winning, not winning. I think this next guy is going to be a plug and play. I think Georgia's going to win this. However, B. Jammin thinks it's. Go ahead.
No, you go ahead.
No, I was just going to the next statement. You were going to say something.
Yeah. Carson Beck went down in the end of the first half. And there, I want to say Georgia was down, weren't they, at the half?
Yeah. They got a little spark.
And they came back and won. So I'm just saying the defense has always showed up and played damn good when needed. That's all.
B. Jammin's got Ducks in Penn State for the championship. You see that? Is that a possibility?
Hell no.
I don't see Penn State.
Penn State? Like, Penn State got to go through who? After they beat up Boise.
They got Georgia. They get winner of Notre Dame, Georgia, right?
Okay, so listen. I don't care if they play Notre Dame can beat them. Notre Dame
can beat Penn State.
Yeah,
I agree. I agree. I don't have Tennessee. Now I got the Ducks. I can see, but I'll be honest, man. I've got Ohio State coming from that side right now.
I got Georgia, Texas national championship. Georgia gets busted up. Georgia busts up Texas 3-peat.
God, I hope we don't get 3 in a row. I don't want that.
Why?
Because I don't want the same game for I don't want a third. I don't want a 3-peat. Because I'm a fan. I want what I want. Damn it! I want something different. That's why
they're the best two teams. One team is just wakes up and they're more physical than the other one. One drinks.
I think Ohio State has something to say about that best team, and I think Oregon does too. Dan Lanning's look, man. We don't need to write off what Lanning and Oregon are doing.
I'm not. I'm just saying that when the mentee versus the mentor matchup goes in, I'm saying the mentor is going to get the mentee.
I'm not sold Texas is better than Oregon or Ohio State right now. I know the SEC, but they played 2 ranked teams and that team beat them twice. I don't want to see it for a third time. That's just the fan of me.
College football is about matchups.
Oh yeah,
right. So Notre Dame, Georgia, that's a perfect matchup for Georgia because they're playing the same way that they want to play. Inside the box, grind them out, power football. Bad matchup. if Texas played against Ohio State, Texas can get Ohio State. If they played against Oregon, they can get Oregon. But if they play against Georgia, too physical.
Well,
Too physical.
I think we'll get a chance. I think those are the teams that are going to end up rising. I don't think any of these other teams are going to. I don't think Notre Dame, Penn State, or any going to challenge. I think these are the teams that end up rising up. Tyler says SMU was in because the committee couldn't set a precedent of punishing conference championship losers. Period. How's it?
Agreed, 1,000%.
And that was the weird paradox that if look, you want to blame somebody, blame Ole Miss and Alabama for losing because it put the committee in a position to make this decision. They wouldn't have had to make this decision if there's 2 more 10-2 SEC teams. Then they're fighting over SEC teams, and the SEC teams just get pissed at each other. What Ole Miss and Bama did was force this to have to happen. When Clemson, inevitably beats SMU, you're going to get. I mean, I'll
tell you what I don't want to see. I don't want to see another 12-game playoff system. Just go like bowl games are good. Like I don't know why everybody craps on bowl games. It's okay to win 10 or 12 games and go to a bowl, and then the top 4 teams play for the national championship. What's wrong with that? That's all we saw this weekend. Great bowl games.
Yeah.
Bad bowl games.
Well, now we're just getting to see teams get to play in multiple bowl games, more or less.
You know how pissed off I would be if I was SMU and I had an opportunity to go play in like the Sugar Bowl, and all I had to do was go to Happy Valley and play in a blizzard. I mean, not in a blizzard, in 30-degree or 20-degree weather, and get my face kicked in. And I don't even know if they got money to go. I don't know if they got like.
I don't know if they get the same bowl stuff.
Like that would suck. Like this.
So yeah, you don't. I didn't even think about that till now. So do they not get? Yeah, the alternative was SMU get to go play in some Sugar Bowl that they may not win, but yeah, you get all the.
Let me go hang out for a week down in New Orleans and
instead of Happy Valley.
Listen, yes, absolutely. Like just send me down to the Orange Bowl. Let me go hang out in Miami.
If anybody knows in chat, answer it. But if not, I'm going to look that up. I'll find that out. I want to know if they do the bowl gift for this, how this playoff bowl gift system works.
What bowl did they play in? They didn't play in a bowl. So what is the bowl committee going to do?
But now this week it is bowls. So do they get the bowl prizes and they did get them last week? What are we doing here? Well, my prizes, man.
I think that's the only reason. That's a tough one. I'd love to find that answer out. We've been beating up this thing all this time, and nobody knows if they're getting bowl gifts. If you're getting that new Nintendo Switch, man, nobody even knows. Yeah, I mean, SMU knew they weren't going to win the national championship. I would have opted out. Like, hey, man, just send me to Miami.
Send me to New Orleans. Hell, send me to look. The winner in all this is South Florida. They're going to Hawaii. Like, you know what that's about, right? Like that, yeah. Like, hey, you ain't gonna let us. We'll just go to Hawaii for the holiday, baby. If I'm not playing the national championship, send me to a place that's warm, sunny, and I can hang out for a week and enjoy myself. And the coaches can have their family just there. But you got a game plan for a game that you know you're gonna get your face kicked in. Ride back and it's miserable. Now you got to go look those kids in the face that are leaving for the portal. It's yeah, sign me up. Not for that. Unless I'm one of the 4 teams, like a top 4 team, that's the only way I want to be in this thing. If I got to go on the road and win 3 to get in, like, nah, bro. And there you have it. Smoke says, go back to 4 and let's just make the bowls fun again. Make the bowls great again, Smoke says. Bro, bowl games are awesome. I don't know about making anything great again, but I'm just saying bowl games are like they're worth it. Like families, I just spoke to my boy Brandon Jones, general manager for Boise. Like they're going out to Arizona. They're gonna hang out. It's gonna be beautiful. Hey, he didn't have to go travel to Indiana. Like, have you ever been to South Bend? No, I want to go though. No, you don't. I want to go to a football game in South Bend. No, you don't. You don't want to go hang out in South Bend. You don't want to hang out in South Bend. Maybe go watch a football game, sure. But no, I don't want. I want to go to a game. I want to see the campus, and I want to get the heck out of there. Yeah. So, would you want to go spend your weekend up there to go play a game when it's cold as hell? Hell no. Send me down to Miami or Hawaii or the Bahamas. The Bahama Bowl that usually gets like Central Michigan and one of the like Northern Illinois. Amazing. Like the best bowl destination on earth gets we've got this backwards. I'm with you, Smoke. Give me the Bahamas. If I can't go play in, I don't want to go to the Pinstripe Bowl in Yankee Stadium. Screw that crap.
Now here's a caveat to all of that, right? So coaches have it within their contract that if they make it to a bowl, they get a certain percentage.
That's right.
So I mean, someone's leveraging up, but it ain't my feet in daggone sand.
Speaking of feet in the sand, man, I think that's a perfect way to end this beautiful night of talking ball, Smoke.
Oh yeah, because you're gonna be out. The rest of us are gonna be stuck in the cold while you're out there on the beach. Well,
y'all are gonna be watching. Yeah, y'all are gonna be up in Nashville, where you are, cold, watching these football games, and I'm gonna be on a boat watching it in a sports bar, some tiki hut somewhere in a tropical island with my title towel, of course. I'll have my title towel with me all week. My boys at Whitwell. Smoke though, man. It's Christmas time. Merry Christmas. I've enjoyed doing the show this year with you, my brother. I hope you and your family have a great one. I hope everybody that's listening tonight, thank you for your time tonight. It's the week of Christmas. I know it's a time to be with family, so we appreciate you spending it with us. Smoke, where can they find you and spread a little Christmas cheer before we get out of here?
Well, before they can find me at anywhere, I looked in my mailbox. I looked for my Amazon. My guy never dropped off a box to the house for gifts. Yours is coming tomorrow. I'm just letting everybody in the world know yours is in the mail. I don't have your address, and I'm totally lying, but it sounds good. So it's
Dude, that look was. I guess I need to be going shopping real quick and get something overnight.
No. You can find me, Coach GV Dixon on X and on Instagram, man. And y'all don't have to. Yeah, just wish me a Merry Christmas. Y'all don't have to crush me all the time I come on. Inspire the truth.
Yeah, man. Just because Grinch's hearts grow at Christmas time too. Just give a little Christmas love, and that heart will grow. And we'll get some Roll Tide cheer out of Smoke.
Nah. Win some more games. You'll find a real fan. You'll find some real fans when you win more games. You don't win, I can't cheer. I can't cheer for losing. I'll tell you that.
Hey, they're gonna come down to Tampa and take care of them Wolverines. I feel it. Boys gonna show up. Boys gonna show up here and
great bowl game.
It is a great Outback Bowl, Michigan, man, marquee games. I'm actually look, man. It is a great bowl game. I hope they show up. I bet they're tickets for this are what the second, third highest bowl, even with the playoffs. If kind of shows you something.
Outback they probably give you like $1,000 gift cards for some good steak.
Cheese fries. Some cheese fries.
The onion things. I haven't eaten there in so long. I don't even know what's on the menu.
I'm not going to lie. Outback is kind of a petty tradition. My dad, like when he would come over for Christmas, my dad loved that. He would go to happy hour at the Outback in Jackson. And then when he'd come over to Tuscaloosa for Christmas, on Christmas Eve, we'd go eat at the Outback in T-Town. So that's a petty thing.
Do you pour A1 sauce on steak?
Yeah, and I heat it up in the microwave too. What? Hell no.
Oh, all right. Oof. I was just saying.
No, sir. I'm like that. Now, like you could have told me Ole Miss sucked. They're the worst team ever. I hate everything about every team you cheer for. Asking me if I put steak sauce on a steak, sir.
I'm just asking. I mean, there you go. The blooming onions. I mean, if you go to Outback, they ask you if you want it, don't they? They say, "Hey, do you want some A1?"
My dad had a steakhouse in Jackson, Mississippi, where I was a busboy, and I watched him fire a waiter for asking somebody if they wanted steak sauce. He said, "You don't ask people if they want steak sauce on my steak. Now, if they request it, you give it to them, but you don't offer it."
A man of culture. I love it.
Yeah, good. Yeah, my dad took steak. We take steak serious.
I love it.
With that said, Merry Christmas. You can find me at Pettey_Daniel. Obviously, we're going to be off this week. No shows tomorrow on Christmas Eve. Spend it with your loved ones. I'll be out next. Smoke will be with us next week. We're going to figure out who's going to be sharing the stage with him. I'm sorry. I will be out on a boat.
Ooh.
Yeah, we may. I don't know. We punt or might have to get you and Siski on here talking crap. I don't know. See if he's out there.
We'll figure something out. We can have an hour talking smoke. We can do that.
Smoke.
We'll just fire off questions.
The smoke hour. Hey,
Yeah,
that would be one heck of a just. Hey, here for it. Next week, come ask Smoke questions. Get all your questions ready, and Smoke will be here with his post-Christmas cheer right before the Gator Bowl. With that said, man, Merry Christmas to you all. Hit that like and subscribe. If you're on Twitter X, come over to the Bama Standard, hit that like and subscribe so you can get all the content. With that said, Smoke, Merry Christmas, brother. Roll Tide. All the love, hotty-toddy, all that good stuff.
Ho, ho, ho. Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas. See y'all next time.